Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Forever Young. I'm your host, David C. Linton, and it's our pleasure to be with you again today as we are in our second season of Forever Young, the program that celebrates life for those of us who are older than 50. And of course, it's entitled Forever Young because, again, everything starts with your mind. And so age is nothing but a number, and you're as young as you feel and as young as you think. And today's program is really ties right into that whole concept of being forever young and for being whatever it is you want to be. But of course, before we get to that, I'm delighted to share this platform each week with two lovely ladies who I don't consider them my co-hosts. I consider them my partners, and one is, she has her own affirmation. You know what? She's beautiful. And you know why? Because she told us that. But if you see her, you will totally agree. And I'm talking about none other than Miss Jean Hendricks. Good afternoon, Jean.
Good afternoon, David. I'm delighted to be with you again. Thank you so much.
That beautiful smile. I told you, right? She's beautiful. And then, of course, my other partner in this journey, um, beautiful as well. But kind of brings us all together, keeps us together. She's that silent partner that kind of makes sure that everything kind of flows. And I'm talking about none other than Dr. Sharon E. Mitchell. Welcome, Dr.
Thank you, David. Good to see you again. And hello again to our audience for Forever Young. Happy to be here today.
Well, thank you again. We started on our last program, we started talking about something that was really important, and that's, affirmations and making sure that we talk to ourselves. And so, I know that the show was so engaging and we ran out of time. So we were delighted when our guest from last week, Dr. Christina Wilson, I keep linking her doctor. She's not a doctor, but hey, that's my affirmation for her. Now, but Christina Wilson to come back and talk to us a little bit more about what she does for her clients. But in the tradition of the program, before we get started, we always have Miss Jean Hendricks, and I'm sure she has something that kind of set the tone for the program this week. Jean?
Thank you, David. Yes, I'd like to share a poem entitled Affirmation, and it reads, sometimes all it takes is a little positive affirmation that can really speak to us, that can help us guide us. When we feel like life is off track, helping us to understand who we really are. It can be nice to know that you are appreciated, to know that someone cares about you, who you are, where you are, and understand what you need. More importantly, it's good to give those positive affirmations. Sometimes it can always make someone's day, spreading waves of positivity that will prognate throughout the world. Thank you, David. Back to you.
Well, thank you so much for those words. And again, like I said, you always have what we need when we need it. And so without further ado, I want to reintroduce to some of you our guest for this week, Christina Wilson. She is a mother entrepreneur, and she loves to help people, especially women. And she wants them to reach their God-given purpose. In June 2017, she started a program, a business, a fitness company called Fit for a Purpose, and was formed with the mission of inspiring and encouraging and aiding in the transformation of the lives of women all across the world with physical fitness, nutritional awareness, and then in mental and emotional healing. 2018, she opened a physical location for her business and has serviced hundreds of women, and she helps to meet their needs. And she continues to do that till this day, located in Morrow, Georgia. But she'll get all of that, and we'll tell you more about that because we're going to pick up from last week. Welcome once again to Forever Young, Christina Wilson.
Hey, thank you so much for having me for another segment. I'm excited.
Thank you so much. We had such a robust conversation and we were talking about affirmations and affirmation from the root word affirm, which means to validate. So it means you're validating yourself and encouraging yourself. So I guess the first thing to pick up, and for those, why are affirmations important, Christina?
I feel like affirmations are important because, like we said in the last episode, just in case you missed it, the mind is the most powerful tool that we as human beings have. And so, whatever the mind believes becomes our reality or what we end up living out. And even the Bible talks so much about the mind. It talks about not being conformed to the world, but being transformed by the renewing of our mind. It tells us to guard our hearts, because whatever comes into our hearts, which is what's coming from our mind, is what we ultimately think. You know, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So then it tells us to guard that, guard our hearts, guard our thoughts. It tells us to think about things that are lovely, pure, you know, all of these scriptures that talk about the mind, but people don't focus on it enough. I feel like they just believe things just happen. And it's like, no, we have to do the work like God tells us to do by renewing our own minds every single day.
Yes, yes, very good.
Amen.
Thank you. Amen. Very good. Christina, do we need training in order to recite affirmations?
As far as going to a conference and sitting there and have somebody lecture to you for hours on end about it, no. But do you need to train your mind and yourself to affirm yourself? Yes. It's not something that if you're not born doing it, and this is just like with anything, if you're not born doing it, then it's not something that's going to happen overnight. It's not something that you're going to succeed at overnight. You know, there may be some days where your thoughts get the best of you and you're like, man, you know, but that doesn't mean you have to give in to those negative thoughts. You just retrain yourself to say, you know what, I can do this. I got this. I can do hard things. And so for me, it took training for me. You know, I went through a lot in my life where I was a negative thinker. To this day, I still overthink things. So I still have to train myself to not overthink this, that God is in control. Christina, you can handle this. You're strong. You are intelligent. You make good decisions. You know, even in COVID, I tell myself, you're a great mother, you know, with this virtual learning situation going on, you know, it was a lot. So, but for
Imagine.
me, I had to train my mind to tell me those things. Because other than that, I would, you know, I could have let the world get the best of me and make me think that I'm failing. But in actuality, no, I'm like, you're doing amazing in this pandemic. Just keep going. And so for me, it is a daily thing that you have to train yourself on doing it, and you have to stay consistent with it.
Very good.
Amen.
Thank you. Amen.
So
Mhm.
Christina, you talked about your children and certainly with the pandemic. So how have your affirmations impacted your family, and can they impact our family if we recite affirmations daily?
They most definitely impact your family and anybody you're connected to, because like I said, what lies in your mind is going to come out through your mouth. So you can always tell a person who has a positive mentality because they're always speaking positive things. Those who have a lot of hate and anger inside of them, they're speaking negativity all the time. It doesn't matter what you say. You could say, girl, you look good today. And they'll be like, well, I didn't look good yesterday. You know, it's always something negative other than just receiving the
Yeah.
compliment. You know? So when you think about it, it's like whatever you speak and whatever your kids hear, for me, whatever my kids hear me say, they're like parents. My kids are going to repeat everything that I say. It doesn't matter what I say. And so I want to make sure that I'm giving them something to repeat. My daughter and my son have my affirmations memorized. Like they can affirm me
Oh,
if I can't
wow.
affirm myself. And they can
Good.
even
That's
affirm
good.
themselves. You know, so
Beautiful.
I
That's good.
think that's important. But like, yeah, for anyone, if you're married, affirm your spouse and vice versa. You know,
Yeah.
affirm your kids. I believe in all of that. hmm
That's
You know,
good.
That's
Good.
some good stuff.
it
It
really
is.
is. I mean, that's
Mhm.
you know, the fact when you talk about families, because you know, during this pandemic, you know, families have some families realize that maybe I don't really like the person that I live with. you know, I mean, there have been. I mean, some people said, "I still love you, but I don't like you." But again, you know, there's been, you know, families are getting hostile against each other because of the close confinements that they find themselves in. Of course, as you know said, you know, trying to virtual teaching and, you know, with children, and then you know, you have to reveal to your kids that, well, I really don't know about that new math, that's old math or whatever, and then keeping them. So that really is it's important what you're saying. So how do you deal with that during, you know, before? Yeah, I want to keep this train of thought, because so how do you handle it? How do you tell people now, you know, during this pandemic, how do they handle that? Are they still doing it through your location? Are you doing on Zoom? And then what do you tell them when they go like, Christina, I got my kids, I got 3 kids, one's doing math, one's doing this, and I'm just going crazy. I can't do this anymore.
Right. So to answer the first question, we are doing both in-person and virtual classes. The blessing in COVID, because we're talking about the mindset, right? So I could look at COVID negatively in the fact that my business had to close for a couple months, or I could focus on the positive, which for me, the blessing in COVID is we discovered live streams for ourselves. We never even thought about live streaming a fitness class. And so we worked out all the kinks, and it's amazing now. You know, it's part of our brand. It's part of what we put out, what we do. And so for us, that was a blessing in disguise. So we do offer both. You can come in the studio. We have procedures in place where, you know, our people wear masks, we sanitize, we clean after, we disinfect after. Or if you still want to stay home, you can do that. But for me and my clients, I tell them, you know, it's all about what you focus on. I'm going to stay with that because that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about renewing the mind, and that's where affirmations, you know, take place. And so it's all about what you focus on. You know, do our kids get on our nerves sometimes? Of course they do. But are you focused on that negative aspect of them, or are you trying to focus on positivity in your kids? Because some people don't have their children anymore. Some people were forced to send their kids back to school and put them in a dangerous environment. So think of it as a blessing that you get to stay home with your kids and teach them. It's a blessing that you have food to feed them every day, because my kids eat nonstop during the pandemic. But I'm like, hey, at least my kids can eat. At least they're not sick.
Food.
You know, they're eating. They have food to eat. God bless me to keep my job during COVID. So it's like, what are we focused on? Are we focused on the positive things, or are we going to focus on the negative?
Right. Very good. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
That is so important. That is important. It's about what you said, what you focus on. Sharon?
So Christina, do you have? Yes, I wanted to find out, does she have some affirmations? You shared a few with us in our last episode. Do you have any that you can share?
I have thousands of them. No.
Oh, wow.
But in the last episode, I did talk about how my phone affirms me every time that I plug it up. So I just want to play that for you all now so that you can hear it. Because some people probably didn't believe that. Like, how does that happen? But my son set it up where every time I plug my phone up to charge it, it affirms me. So I'm going to go ahead and for you to hear it. And hopefully you'll be able to hear it loud and clear. But here it is.
I am beautiful. I am powerful. I am strong. I am resilient. I am confident. I have purpose.
So those are my affirmations that my phone me every time I plug it up. And I absolutely love it.
And you know what? That is a great tool, because, you know, that's a great tool because, you know what? We spend so much time in these things now. You know, some people, if you lose your phone, it's like you lose, you know, hey, you know, stop, you know. And so the fact that you spend so much time with these mobile devices that every time you plug it in or turned it on, it said something, you know, reaffirming. That's a great idea. So I'm sure that people are going to be trying to figure out how to do that if they don't. or your son or whomever it was is going to, get a little side money. Well, I believe in the American dream. Okay, everybody, capitalism.
Okay. Okay.
But, there's the other
Chris-
part of you. I think Jean was going to say something, because I do want to talk about the other side. We do talk about affirmations, but this did start out as physical fitness. We did talk about the body, so we don't want to lose that part. Jean, did you have something to say?
Yes, I was going to ask Christina, is there affirmation for some of us who are always saying to ourselves, I got to lose weight, I've got to lose weight. Is there an affirmation? Do you have one for those of us who are constantly trying to lose weight? What would it be?
I tell my students, we say I am healthy, which for anybody that could mean anything, because people focus so much on what the world puts out as how we should look. So the world might say, oh, you should have a thin waist. But for some of us, that might not look, that great on us, depending on how thin you're trying to get. So it's important to go, I am healthy. I am created in the image of God. Like, things like that affirm who you are in your natural aspect. I am beautiful. Like, just believing that how you look now is how you're supposed to look, and that's good enough. Who are you trying to lose this weight for? Is it yourself? Is it a man? Because whoever God has for you is gonna love you the way that you present yourself. And the healthier you become, that person will get on board with you becoming healthy, and they'll encourage you through that. So, like I said, for our ladies, it all starts out with, why are you doing this? What is behind this? You want to lose weight for yourself? You want to get healthy? Okay, say I am healthy. You want your heart to get better? Start speaking to your heart. My heart is operating the way God intended it to. Are you trying to unclog your arteries? Stop eating all that food that you eating that's got all that fat and stuff in it, and then start speaking to your arteries and speak positivity into that. Because faith without works is dead. So you can't sit here and eat all that stuff and then sit here and affirm yourself, because you can't affirm and then eat. Like, they don't go together.
That's right. That's right.
It's so funny that you said that. I was just getting ready to say that faith without work, because I was going to say that. That way, you got to do a little work with y'all.
That's right. Very good. Awesome.
But that is so important.
Yes.
You said something that was really, good. It's always about the why. We always have to ask the why. That's part of your purpose for doing anything. Why are we doing this? Why do we get up and go to work? Why do we get up, and why are we going back to school? Why are we do X, Y, and Z? The why is so important. So when people come to you, do you help them identify their why?
The first thing I ask them is why they are there. Of course, you're here today to take a class, but as you continue to come to us, what is it that you want us to help you with? What type of journey are you on? Are you trying to get physically fit? Is this your health? Is there something wrong that we should know about? Where are you trying to go? And then we walk alongside you on that journey. So we're not going to do the work for you. We'll teach our hearts out to you. We'll show you everything that we can show you, but you have to walk that journey, and we'll walk next to you as soon as you tell us, what exactly you're trying to get to, where you're trying to get to.
Good.
So, Christine, I have a question. So, have the reciting affirmations yielded results for any of your students or for yourself?
Absolutely. I just got a text message last night from one of my clients who's been connected with me since I opened, and she was just like, she affirmed me in the fact of in the same moment that she received affirmation, because she was just like, I just want to tell you that I absolutely love having you as a part of my life. The studio has saved my life. You have completely changed, my thought process, how I feel about myself. I'm more confident. And I just want to thank you for that. And I was like, man, if I didn't need to hear that, I did, because for me, you never know, because the people, sometimes they just look at you. Like, even when pastors preach, it's like the people just looking at them sometimes. So you don't know if they're receiving it or if it's falling flat. So even to
Right.
hear that and to know that, okay, these ladies are receiving it. When we send these messages out, some of them will give feedback like, Christine, I really need to hear that today. And it's just that little push to keep moving forward. Even if they didn't do that, I would continue to do it because I know what God told me. But He knows that sometimes you need that affirmation from people as well. Like, it's great to get it from Him. And I'm not minimizing the
Right.
affirmation from God at all, but it's
Mhm.
also great to hear it from
Mhm.
others as
Right.
well.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and sometimes
Absolutely.
Right. Very good.
sometimes he uses other people to give them to you. You know,
Yes.
it can
Right.
be that
Yes.
That's
instrument.
right.
Yes. Uh-huh.
You can
Yes.
be that
Mhm.
instrument. So with
Yes.
everything that you've done and for this your business and what is the most rewarding thing for you?
For me, it's just knowing that I'm helping these women. Like, that is my purpose in life, is to help other women get to their God-given purpose. I believe that the reason that God had me go through so much that I went through and I'm only 35. And to some people, they're like, well, what have you could have gone through in 35 years? And I've been through a lot. If I sat and talked about it, people probably wouldn't believe it. But I believe the only reason He did that is because I prayed about what's my purpose. And when I figured out this is my purpose, He's like, now you can help these women to get through that because you've been through that. And so,
Right.
was it painful? Was it hard? Definitely. But now that I'm out of it, and even there's still more to come. I'm not saying I'm not going to experience anything ever again in life. But now that I'm able to help them move out of that, and God sends people who have been through the exact same thing all the time. It's like a all the time thing, just as a reminder that this is where I came from, and for me not to get prideful and get in my own way, because I could be in the same predicament as them again at any time if I make, the choice. So for me, the most rewarding thing is looking at these ladies and hearing their stories and their testimonies about how they've overcome, how they're getting healthy, how they're starting to love themselves, how they're getting confident. Like, when I see them smiling and their confidence and they're glowing, I just think that's amazing. And I don't want to stop doing it if I don't have to. Like, if the Lord says I can continue to do this for the rest of my life, I will.
Good. Good.
That's
So
wonderful.
that's when you know
Wonderful.
you've got
Very
your
good.
purpose. When you
Yes.
would do something
Yes.
like that, that's when you know you have your
Right.
purpose and you know it.
Right.
So first of all, how would people get in contact with you? I know your information is going to scroll at the end of the program, but if somebody's looking at the program right now and they got a pen and pencil, because when it scrolls, it may scroll too fast. How would people be able to get in contact with you?
In order to get in contact with the studio, it's Fit for a Purpose. So even if you type that in Google, we'll pop right up. But our address is 6329 Jonesboro Road, and we're in Morrow, Georgia, and the zip code is 30260. I know that most of us might be in Decatur or on the north side of town, but like I said earlier, the great thing is we do offer live stream classes. We have all types of classes from dance to toning classes, but that's my personal studio. However, we are also sponsoring Get Up and Exercise. So for those of you who are regular watchers of Hope TV, we appreciate you. Tune in at 8:30 a.m. and that's when we have Get Up and Exercise every single day except for Sundays for you all. It's free 30-minute workouts. And if you have any feedback on something that you'd like to see on there, we'd love to hear it. We try to have things for different age ranges. So we have some chair workouts, we have some Zumba dance, we have some toning workouts on there for you. So it's just a wide variety on the show. Like I said, it's Monday through Saturday at 8:30.
Well, I
Great.
might have to put
Very
that
good.
into my
Great.
planning. That's good to know. I didn't know that. I learned something.
Yes. Hope TV.
Yes.
Yeah, Hope
Uh-huh.
TV. I mean,
I
there's
exercise
so
on Hope
many.
TV also.
Oh, you do? See, you've been
Okay.
holding out
Yes.
on. You've been holding out on me, Dean. You didn't tell me that. See, but again, this platform that we've created, Hope TV, has so many great programs, and that was a nice sidebar. And we want to definitely encourage all of our viewers to tune in to all of the programs and see what we have to offer here on Hope TV, an innovative way to minister to people during this pandemic program. We're getting near the end of the show, and so I'm just going to go to Jean and Dr. Mitchell, see if they have any parting questions for Christina as we head up into a wrap. And then if there's anything, Christina, you want to say before we put a bow on this program. Jean?
No, I have enjoyed everything that you've said, Christina, and especially the affirmations. I'm going to write some of the ones that you have mentioned down so that I will be able to read them every morning, put them in a journal. I think I'm going to start journaling affirmations. That was a great idea. Thank you so much for sharing your heart.
Thank you.
Amen. Christina, as I was preparing for this, I saw an article about Amanda Gorman. You know, she's a young lady that was reciting the poetry for the Super Bowl and for the inauguration. Well, she just did an interview with Michelle Obama, and she talked about her mantra before she goes out to speak. And she recites this every day. It's called the Song of the Ancestors, where she's saying, I'm a daughter of the ancestors, and she just builds herself up. And so I tell you, this is such a time conversation that we need in days like this, coming out of COVID, where people are just inundated with negativity and the news. Having positive affirmations is something that I think it is a God-given thing that God has given you for this. So I want to applaud you on it and encourage you to continue doing it. And I follow your stream, so I have been doing my affirmations. So I am one of your students. And so I want to say to you, keep up the good work, both with the exercise and certainly with the affirmations. I'm one of your recipients that has seen the difference as a result of participating. So thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Hey, David,
Christina,
back to you.
Any Christina, any last things you want to say to our audience? We thank you so much for being a part of the show today.
Thank you so much. I guess in closing, I just want to, I know this is Forever Young, but I just want you all to know that affirming yourself, it's not too late to do that. I don't want you to feel like, well, I'm stuck in my ways, or I have to stay here, or this is just who I am. It's not just who we are. When we enter Christ, we become new creatures. So we can choose to renew our minds every single day. And I don't want you to think that it's too late, because it's not. God still has a purpose for you. He still has a plan for you. You don't have to just, stay home and sit and think about the things that you could be doing. You can go do them. And so I just want you to know that, COVID is hard for all of us, but we all can come out of this stronger than we went in. It has been hard. We've all lost people to COVID, but God still has you here. And so I just want to, part with you knowing that affirming yourself and believing in yourself is so important. And I hope that you never stop doing that.
Well, thank you so much,
Great.
Christina. I think that's a nice bow on this program. We've been talking with Christina Wilson for I Am Fit for a Purpose. We've been talking about affirmations, but she also works on the body as well. You can see her on Hope TV. You can also visit her on Instagram, social media, at I Am Fit for a Purpose. And of course, I'm always delighted to have Jean Hendricks with us and Dr. Sharon Mitchell, my two lovely co-hosts. And we just want to thank all of the staff of Hope TV and our executive producer, Dr. E. Dewey Smith Jr., for coming up with this platform that allows us to stay connected and to share valuable information. And as we like to say on this program, Forever Young, you are forever young because, age ain't nothing but a number, and you are as young as you feel. So until the next time we get a chance to be together, I'm David C. Linton for Jean Hendricks and Dr. Sharon Mitchell. Remember, you are forever young. Until the next time, take care. God bless.